Okay, everyone, it's Mary Fain Brandt with the LinkedIn Bakery serving up bite-sized tips so you don't get overwhelmed. We're having some technology issues. You know, it wouldn't be a Wednesday night and Facebook Live if I wasn't having technology issues. So we are going to see if we can get this to work because, okay, this is shift click. Yes, touchdown. Okay. So I'm just super happy because I have split screen. Barbara, they can see both of our faces. I'm super excited that I got this to work. I don't know what was going on. Kimberly says she sees us both. Thank you, Kimberly, for joining us. This is going to be a fantastic show. I hope other people are going to join us and didn't just say, oh, Mary is not on tonight, because I'm here. I'm consistently here. So the first and third Wednesdays of the month, you can find me here. Technology issues or not, I am having my Facebook Live show, bringing guest experts on, and I have some really great other experts that I'm getting on the phone with, and we're cooking up something new in the LinkedIn Bakery kitchen for you. Hey, I want to know where you're calling from or where you're watching from. So if you could type in the comments what city, state, or country, because I do have a global audience now, let me know where you're watching from. And I love to know what type of business you're in, because one of my God-given talents is being a connector. I actually won the award at HeraHub last October for being a connector. It's somewhere here in my office. I don't know what I did with it. Where is it? Anyways, so that's my God-given talent. So if there's someone I can connect you with that's in my LinkedIn network, please let me know who that is, but also why you want to connect with them, and I'll do an introduction for you. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and get this party started. Barbara Eldridge from Mind Masters is joining us. She's going to be talking about coaching and mastermind groups. And Barbara and I know each other from HeraHub, where we're both members and colleagues. She actually hosts her mastermind groups there. And Barbara is very experienced here in this. I just learned a lot about Barbara because we go on around 6:30 to make sure all the tech works, and it was working at 6:30, folks. So I want to let you guys all hear Barbara's story on how she got started as an entrepreneur, because let me tell you, we don't just wake up and decide we're going to be an entrepreneur and everything just flows peacefully. We magically have an online presence and just customers like knocking at our door, right, Barbara?
Doesn't happen that way. We'd love it too, but it doesn't happen that way.
Right?
At least not in the beginning.
Yeah, at least not in the beginning. So, Barbara, you were telling me your journey of how you became this coach and mastermind person, and I'd love for you to share with my audience what that journey looked like.
Well, it seems like a very long one at this time, but as I shared, when I got out of college, I really wanted to be in marketing, and I went to work for one of the largest advertising agencies in New York, doing market research.
Wow!
And it really gave me a foundation for what was happening in that world, but realized I want to be out there with the client. I don't want to be inside trying to find information for them. So that's when I took position with a couple of children's book publishers. And, right out of college, the idea that I could travel all over the United States promoting children's books was just fantastic for me. And it really gave me an option to do a lot of writing for marketing and as well as doing the promotion. So it was really a great time for me. You get to that point where you can only move so many places in terms of up the ladders. And I looked around and went, well, I guess I've done what I needed to do in publishing. And I got this idea that I wanted to, after having traveled the United States, to move to California. So I gave myself a year. And I don't think I shared this with you, but I told a friend of mine who was starting his business, I'll give you a year of my life. Oh. And just so that I can put it all together, and I helped him open a temporary employment agency.
Ah.
And so I did, whatever was needed. I recruited people. I sent people out. It always amazed me how women wouldn't get up on a snowy morning to go to work because, it was too cold outside.
Hey, I totally would not get up in the snow and go out, but I'm a San Diego girl.
Yeah, I was at work and I couldn't understand why they wouldn't go. But at any rate, we did that for a year and then I took off for California. I got here and said, okay, it's so beautiful here. Why would I want to be inside in a job? So I took a sales position and traveled all over San Diego County. It was really, really a fun time for me. Got involved with the company I was with doing first off small mom and pop stores, but then I got major accounts, called on Safeway and Vons and all of those people. So
Nice.
it gave me a good sales background.
So you have a background in sales and marketing.
Marketing, correct.
Ah.
And so as I decided I wanted to move on in my life, I then got married. I got married in December of one year, and the very next year, that February, I got married and we went to Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, if I'm going to go into business, I want to spend 2 years working for a small company, that everyday mom and pop, and was able to open a Nutrisystem weight loss medical center. That was when they had doctors and nurses and behavior ed specialists on staff, and so I managed their one store in Little Rock, and then I opened a second one for them. And we blew the roof off of the 2 stores, and then
Nice.
the guy sold it out from under me, the franchisee. And I kind of went, okay, well, I got my 2 years of experience. Now what am I going to do? And that's when I really started looking for something that spoke more to me. And out of, honest to goodness, it was really out of the blue. A company called my husband because he had purchased a program from them years before and wanted to know if he wanted to go to work for them or with them.
Okay.
And he said, well, not me, but maybe my wife would. And so I became a distributor for Success Motivation Institute. I marketed their programs on planning, goal setting, time management areas. And that's really, really where I got to connect more with entrepreneurs.
Okay.
A lot of it was, some of it was personal, goal setting type stuff, but mostly it was really entrepreneurs, and it just really spoke to me. I worked with them for almost 10 years, marketing their programs. When we came back, we were 8 years in Arkansas. When we came back here, I worked with them for another 2 years, and it was actually as the company wasn't supporting us in the same way they had been. My own mastermind group said to me, why don't you do this for other people? You're the one that puts us together. You're the one that makes sure we're here every...
So did you have a mastermind group within that company, or was this something you had done on the side?
This was my own personal...
So you had created a mastermind group while you were working at this company.
Well, even in Arkansas, I had 2 friends that we used to meet on a weekly basis just to support each other. So yes, it just has always spoken to me that this was what I needed. When you're in business alone, sometimes it gets, it really gets hairy out there. And so I had a friend who's a chiropractor and another lady who was a tailor designer type person. And so we all kind of worked together and supported each other.
Nice.
So Mind Masters got kicked off, as I shared with you, 26 years ago.
That's fabulous. And so you guys, I was saying, wow, that's like a long time. I'm like, but that's fabulous that it's been around. I think what I said was, that's crazy, Barbara. She's like, yes. I'm like, but that's crazy good. Crazy good that for 26 years you've been in business doing what you love to do, helping and supporting a community that needs that. We need these coaching groups. And just to touch on that, the first time I was in a mastermind group was here locally, and it was only, I think there were only 6 women. And I did it for 3 months. And if no one, and I want to ask this question right now to my audience, if you've been in a mastermind group before, type the word M. So I want to see what our audience says. The first time I guess it was a year and a half ago, and I wasn't sure I wanted to do it. It was women I knew. I was like, oh, are we just going to go there and talk? I'm like, because I don't need to waste my time, right? So Kimberly said she's been in a mastermind group. That's great, Kimberly. So I'd like to know, was it in person or was it a virtual group? So this small group of women, I was like, I don't know. Are we just all going to talk about things? And there was a little bit of that, but that was at the beginning. And then the person that was running it, she had an exercise for us to kind of go through, or some goal setting, and we each got so much time to talk about this that is on our plate, whatever this was. And it was through that group that I got an introduction, and I sold my first LinkedIn package. 10 sessions. I was like, who wants to learn LinkedIn for 10 sessions? But I sold my first LinkedIn package, and to my highest invoice that I've sent out. I would have never done that if I hadn't been in that group. I've done a lot of great things, but I would have never done that if I hadn't been in that group. The people that were encouraging me, validating my worth, so I've been in a mastermind group, and it really paid off for me. So.
Excellent. Well, yeah, I mean, with the right group of people and the right person facilitating it, because that's really what it does take, somebody to direct it, and that's what I've had to learn, and have really enjoyed it. The fun part for me is all the different kinds of businesses I've been able to work with. I mean, it just from that standpoint, there's no boredom in what I do.
Right. Now, I have a question. So okay. I know that coaches always have a coach, right? Like a good coach has a coach or a coaching program. So as a mastermind person, are you in a mastermind that's outside of your group?
No, I'm not.
You're just in your group?
I have 2 support people that I work with. From that standpoint,
okay.
Individually, I don't put them together in a group. I have that separate thing, and I've just learned to work that way. It really keeps me more focused.
Where do you go when you have questions? Then do you go to HaraHub? like if you're stuck, or you've been doing it for 26 years, so you have it down pat.
Well, it's interesting because the 2 people that I work with, really. They support me in that way. I can. Okay. That's what we do. We make sure. In fact, there's a third person involved as well. That then I make sure on a monthly basis we have individual time, so that I can support them as well as them supporting me.
Okay. So yeah. Kimberly, I asked the question. Was it virtual or was it in person? So she was in a virtual mastermind. I forgot I was also in a virtual mastermind, but it didn't work for me. And I think it just didn't work. I don't know why. I feel like it wasn't as organized as I had hoped. Maybe not the right mix of people for where I was at in my business. Because I think it's important, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but you need people that have already made it, right? That are pushing you and that have been where you're at, and then people here too where you encourage them. I think it's the dynamics.
Well, part of it is the dynamics, and irrespective of the business that people are in at that point, their experience comes from so many different places. And so what they bring to the table is just unbelievable, because it filters into what other people need very, very easily. And sometimes they still struggle with their own goals, but what they can bring to the table just enlightens them to really push themselves to grow as well.
Do you have any great examples that you can share with the audience? Someone that maybe was hesitant about coming into the mastermind group and then really excelled, or just any personal triumphs. I always like to share the victories, right?
Absolutely. I've always done my business through networking, and I met this young man, and he came kind of reluctantly to MindMasters, and honest to goodness, he did not know how to network. He did not know how to do any of that. He was a branding expert, from that standpoint, did great graphic stuff. I literally had to take him by the hand to introduce him, even at a bigger networking group. However, once he made the commitment, I can't tell you how many years ago it was. It's got to be at least 6 years ago. He now has 6 employees.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I usually don't have people stay on that long once they have employees, but he just has grown the business fantastically. He really got focused on the market that he enjoys the most, and it has brought him a tremendous amount of experience. He just moved into a huge office space, where he was working out of a couple of small cubicles someplace. And so it's exciting to see that. I hear more of his frustrations at this point as he deals with employees.
Because he's made it up to that point. So now so their mastermind groups can be used for people that are just starting out and people that have grown a business and are successful, but you're coming for different reasons probably.
I'm very careful about accepting real newbies unless they have really been in the business working for somebody else. When they come into a mastermind group, there is so much good information that is shared that it overwhelms them. So I want to make sure that they have some background in the doing of the business, not necessarily the managing and marketing and sales of the business. So it's really I'm careful about who does come in.
So is there a vetting process? Like when you say they have to be experienced, so is it someone that's been has their own business so I'm just trying to get, I guess, an answer for the audience. So, I've been in business, this is going on my 4th year, and I've pivoted, I've moved from just career coaching to this LinkedIn strategist. So and I'm growing my business at this time. I'm pivoting again to taking it all online. So would I be a good fit for one of your groups?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll give you a perfect example. Years ago, I had a lady come. She and her husband had come out of these corporate type jobs. Not maybe even one of them had manufacturing. And all of a sudden, they're going to be sign makers. Okay? They put money into a retail, visual retail shop. They knew nothing about running a business. Absolutely. And every time she'd come to a meeting, there was so much more that she, was hearing that she was going to have to do that it just wasn't working for her. And yet, I've had somebody who, for instance, I have a young man who is a physical trainer.
Okay.
And now he's been in MindMasters. Now he's ready to go and open his own studio.
Oh, wow.
So he's had the foundation of bringing in customers. He knows what he has to sell. Now he's going to move into something else. So it's not necessarily that they're. I just find they have to have a background in what it is that they want to put out there.
They need a little bit of experience and knowledge before joining a mastermind group. I always think of mastermind groups as a really good area for growth and to hold you accountable. But you can only be held accountable if you show up. So
exactly.
I'd like to know, how does your group run? How often do you meet? How long do you meet for?
Okay, I have 4 groups that meet weekly. Okay,
You're busy.
Because I work with the small business owner. I mean, my one client with 6 employees, that's a little, more than most of my clients. And so we meet weekly because it's about the focus for them. Mm-hmm. So, it's really them wanting to be able to have the experience of other people. So the accountability is a big part of it. So, I think what I do is probably different than a lot of other mastermind groups. Mine are focused on business. Okay, we're in the process because there are mastermind groups that work on personal development and things like that. That's not what I'm talking about. So we cover a topic before the brainstorming starts, and then every person gets time to share the challenge, the idea, or the resource that's on their mind, they're struggling with, that they can get input from the others on.
Okay.
And so, it's a timed thing. We meet for an hour and a half on a weekly basis. And, it's at the end of each of their 10 minutes, then we ask them to make a commitment to what they want to be accountable for. And I have a form that they have to fill out every week, and they hand back a copy of it to me. So, that I can help support them to stay on track. It's important to me. I'm on the phone with them every week. Once, I call everybody. They're not necessarily appointments, but I make the rounds of every single one of my clients on a weekly basis so that I know they're where they say they want to be. If not,
Right.
what can we do to make that shift? And so it's been an ongoing process forever.
Okay. I'm just saying we've got some more ladies joining us. Laura and Gloria jumped on. So Gloria says, or people like me who have succeeded then lost everything and has to start again from scratch. Oh yeah, that's not easy, Gloria.
But think about the experience you have to bring to the table, Gloria.
Right? That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. It really, people don't realize what they have to offer. And that's then what spurs them on to their next thing, whatever that is.
That's true. Good point. Good point. All great information. So Barbara and I were talking a little bit. So we talked about accountability. You talked about action. Gloria says, indeed. So we kind of know who your client is. It's the small business, the entrepreneurs. I'm a solopreneur. I had a couple interns do a little work for me, not to the level where I want it to get, but my goal is to, I think my goal this next year is to automate as much as possible with technology, to, hire some kind of VA, I think, to take all the little tasks. I think that's where I need to go so I can keep my sanity. And just so I can grow my business.
That keeps you accountable too, having to keep up with them.
Because I'm at the point where I can't grow my business anymore without support.
Right.
Without some help. And then once I get to that point, then how do I grow my business? So that'll be coming up, probably the end of the year. Maybe that's
Excellent.
2019.
Excellent.
So
Sure.
we know that you serve the entrepreneurs and the small business owners, and that you meet with them weekly and you follow up that with a phone call. That's amazing. And are all these meetings at Hera Hub in Mission Valley?
I have 3 of them in Hera Hub in Mission Valley, and then I have 1 up in a restaurant in Carlsbad.
Okay, wonderful. And just in case you guys are wondering what Hera Hub is, that's Barbara and I know each other from Hera Hub, which is collaborative workspace. It's female focused, and it is I know, right? We laugh at that because we can't say for female entrepreneurs. It's female focused. I would say 95% female. There's that 5% of men, which are fine. They know their place. No, I'm just kidding, guys. But it is, I always tell people, Hera Hub is the best business investment I made early on. I wanted a professional place to meet with clients and that I could work, and it gave me that opportunity to be the LinkedIn guru there for my first year, and it was fabulous. So if anybody wants a free day pass, I'm a Hera Hub ambassador. I'm here to connect you. That's what I do. So Hera Hub's a great place to hold the workshops. That's where I used to hold my LinkedIn labs. I love the work that you're doing, and I know I have a couple friends that have gone through your program, and I think that you have, it's already 7:30. I can't believe it, because we could probably sit here and talk all night about mastermind and coaching and how powerful it is and how it can really propel you forward in your business. It can break down the walls and help you face your fears, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The thing that I stand on with my groups is I make sure we do quarterly planning. I make sure we have a quarterly planning workshop.
I need to do that.
Just to make sure that the things that you say you want to do, you have time to make the corrections before you move on to the next quarter. So planning, for me, is a big part of what Mind Masters is all about, because without it, what they want to produce on a monthly basis isn't worth anything unless they have that plan.
See, that's why I need to automate things and then hire a virtual assistant, because I can't grow my business, right, until I put those things in place. Right. So if I say the end of the year, that, I know for me that's another 6 months. But it's good to have those goals.
It's all about, as I tell everybody, it's all about small steps. You take the small steps and you do get to where you want to go.
Absolutely. So, Kimberly said she loves the quarterly planning focus. Kimberly, you might be a good match for Barbara's mastermind group, Mind Masters. Kimberly's looking for a new group. So, Barbara, I think that you offer something for first-time guests.
I invite people to visit our groups at least twice before any commitment is made.
So
because
important.
Really, Mind Masters is all about the experience. Each group is different, so you come and you experience the group and the kind of people that are in each group.
That's fabulous. So, I would love, how does my audience, if they want to come experience and actually have that in-person experience with you and your Mind Masters group? Oh, Laura also wants to know. Now we got people are like, what? Because you can't, for me, I think that's the same thing. It's like, well, do I want to sign up for like a 3-month or 6-month commitment? I don't even know if it's the right group of people or the right flow. So this is great that you give everyone like 2 opportunities to come check you out and work with you side by side. So if somebody that is watching, or if you're watching the replay, can you type replay for us? How does somebody sign up? What do they do?
Well, it's really, if they come in after the first one, they get a flyer basically that shows what the costs are, and then we invite them back for a second time. They come back for a second time. They're ready to sit down with me one-on-one, and I set up a one-on-one with them. They get there's an initial fee, but then they get time with me one-on-one to go through their member manual, how we do all the things that we do, and what they get with the membership, because it is a membership organization. That's what it comes down to.
But how do they get the first 2 ones? Like, if I have a couple women watching and they're interested in coming to check it out to see what all this fabulousness is about, what this recipe is that you're cooking up.
Send me an email that they'd like to be there, and they can just go online to mindmasters.com. All the meetings are listed.
Perfect.
And pick a time that works.
So ladies, anyone who's watching, and if you're watching the replay and you want to go, just comment in this thread that, hey, I want to come check this group out. And Barbara's going to go in after our show and type and give you guys the link, mindmasters.com, and she'll interact with you. So also, I want to encourage everyone, to ask questions, if you need locations, or just, ask any general questions to Barbara or myself. Just drop them in the comments below, and we are going to go back in and do some engagement and answer your questions and comments tonight, tomorrow, and the next day. So if you are watching the replay, you guys, I want to know that you watched. And I want to answer your questions too, because I'm here to serve you, my audience. So Barbara, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on and sharing your fabulousness and this group. And I know that some people are going to come check you out, because this message is for my audience. I've got people saying they want to come check it out. So you guys, this is Mary Fane Brandt with a LinkedIn Bakery, serving up bite-sized tips so you don't get overwhelmed. My next show is in 2 weeks, and I don't know the date. I don't remember, but it's 2 Wednesdays from now, when I'll have Sean Quinintero joining us about coaching. And I'm really interested in this one, because he says that you should never do a free consultation. And I do them all the time. So we are going to have a very dynamic Facebook Live show that night. I'm really interested, and I'm not asking him ahead of time, because I want to hear what he has to say when you, my audience, hears. And I'm sure there's going to be a dialogue going back and forth. Hey, I'm also launching my online course, Your Recipe for Success on LinkedIn. And this course covers everything from A to Z on LinkedIn. Setting up your profile, doing searches, connecting with your ideal audience, how to message people, how to do LinkedIn native video, how to set up your company page, and so much more. And you get weekly office hours with me, yours truly, Mary Fane Brandt. So if you want to jump on that waiting list, you can go to my website, and right in the middle under courses, it says jump on my waiting list. Anyone that wants to just go ahead and prepay, you can send me a message. There will be 10 modules, and there's a video tutorial with every single module, along with PDFs and templates. This really is a build it yourself course, and it's for beginners to advanced people, because I'm telling you, LinkedIn is changing. There's new features. I'm here to keep you up to date. Okay, we got to run. Thank you so much, Barbara, and I'll see you at Harrahub.
My pleasure. Thank you. See you then.